I'm Paul Stinson. My company is Hoverloft Limited. Today I'm going to talk to you about drones being used in the construction industry and also a little bit about the technical advances in drones. So to begin with, I'll start in the past. So if you look at the top right hand corner there, Nikola Tesla invented the first drone back in 1860. Now I'm talking about commercial drones, I'm not talking about the military drones, which I prefer the friendly ones, thanks. So his first drone was a radio-controlled boat that he tested in a New York pond in 1860. And now if we advance on to 2013, the Amazon CEO there says that in 3 or 4 years, or 4 to 5 years, we'll be using drones to deliver Amazon products, which is a bit off yet, because I think there's still issues with drones falling out of the sky at the moment, but it'll be coming, I'm sure it'll be coming. And they are using drones to deliver other things than Amazon products at the moment, which I'll come on to later on. And if you look at that last bullet point, the market for drones has tripled in the last 4 years. So what can be done now? What can drones do now? And what can drones do for you? If we look here, this is the percentage increase in the use of drones in major industries. In just 1 year, construction use has more than doubled there, 239%. Why? Because of the added value that drones can give, both in cost, time, and in safety, by removing risk. There's a few more benefits of the drones. I'm going to deal with that 55% increase in safety figure on the next slide, or the next few slides. But if we look at the 5,500 figure, that's the number of units of blood that have been delivered by drones, as I was talking about with the Amazon CEO. But this is in Rwanda, and this is not Amazon. This is blood delivery. So I'm going to address the problems with drones towards the end of the presentation, the problems with airports and the misuse of drones. But I'm going to start with the benefits. So, starting with safety first, which is always the best way, this is HSE data from 2016 to 2017. And if we see, the construction industry is, well, it is the largest single industry for fatalities in that year. How can drones manage the risk inherent in this industry? Well, to eliminate it, really. So, these are the types of fatalities in the construction industry. The top one being falls from height. So nearly half of those fatalities were falls from height. Reduce the risk, reduce the time that somebody is up there doing an inspection, and then you can reduce that number. And I've got a very graphical representation of it in this next slide. So here we are. This is Roger Freeman, during his peaceful morning jaunt. He saw a drone flying overhead. He didn't think much of it, but he didn't notice this great white shark underneath. Until he got to shore, when he saw the drone operator and spoke to the drone operator, who was actually logging the movements of great white sharks in the area. So it's a very graphical representation of how a different view can allow you to see something that you wouldn't necessarily see with a terrestrial-based image. And you can also do it at a safe distance. Oh. Something funny's happened there. There we go. So this is the first of my case studies I'd like to talk about. This is something I did in Darlington when I used to live up there. This is for a company called Poland Properties, which are a letting company in Darlington, just a landlord. What they needed to do is to have a look at problem areas on their properties, 3 of their properties. So I went there in the morning with a representative of Poland Properties, who directed me to specific areas and capture high-resolution images. So, for instance, this gutter here was supposed to have been cleaned, which hadn't been, obviously. She wanted to check on the flashing there on that construction, on that piece of roof, and check other work that had been done on a chimney. So I did these specific photographs, and then I took the drone around and did photographs every few metres around the roof. Now, if you consider how much that would cost if you needed to set up scaffolding, get someone in to do the inspections, the safety issues. Just from a quick look on the internet and comparing prices of roofers and scaffolding, I calculated, using my own Google expertise, I calculated that would be about £2,300 for all of those 3 properties. And with me doing it, with my drone, it cost £200, and we analysed the pictures in her office. So it's so much cheaper and safer. This is the second case study I have here. This is not one of mine because I wasn't able to bring one of mine. I couldn't get permission from any of my clients to use their data. But this is one I found on the internet. This is by Sky Revolutions. So I don't know if you realise this, but drones collect GPS coordinates, they collect altitude coordinates, as well as high-resolution images and video. And this company in Somerset needed to find out the volumetric data for their lake that they have there. They called in Sky Revolutions, who created an accurate 3D spatial model. If I click on that, we'll get the video going. In this case, the software used the drone data, was called Pix4D. It processed the data and resulted in this 3D film showing the area in relation to the surrounding land features. This helped the client achieve a detailed and comprehensive view of the location and the lake in context with the location. And by comparing images of the same features from various angles, I mean, this is just the video of the whole thing that you can see, but you can actually drive into that, look around, and even get measurements from that. So the volumetric data was calculated by drone imaging. It was done fast, it was done accurately, and cost effectively. And it's a very easy and quick way to analyse map features. And this next case study is one from America. Now, in this case, they needed to analyse the earthworks for a hospital that was being built. So, DroneBase, which is the company, used Drone Deploy, which is a different type of software similar to Pix4D. Used Drone Deploy software to plan and automate a flight, and I'll show you a video of how that works in a moment. To visualize the site, multiple flights were needed because it was such a big site, but the execution of the whole thing took about an hour. This imagery is processed into the orthomosaic map on the top right, the elevation map in the middle, and the 3D model down here. But if you look at this 3D model, every one of those small black labels is the height of a building, the height of a mound of earth, or the depth of a trench. So you can get that data from a drone, from just a morning's work. Completing the same study with traditional methods would have required maybe 1,000 survey shots. I'm sure you people would know better than I would, actually. But the drone took a lot more data points and created a lot more accurate model of the heights and of the area. So this project demonstrates the massive cost saving that a drone can have for your surveying needs. And just following on from this, I have the video from Drone Deploy, which kind of summarises everything I've just said there. Please don't assume that it's as easy as it says on this video.
The world is constantly changing, but now there's a link between the physical world and the digital world that lets you see and measure what's happening on the ground. With Drone Deploy, you can capture high-resolution 3D aerial data and use it to make informed decisions, align your team, and keep projects on track. Getting started is fast and easy. All you need is a drone and a mobile device. Select the area you want to map, then launch a completely automated flight with just a tap.
I've brought one of those drones with me today. I'll show you that towards the end.
A 2D live map will appear as your drone flies. To create a high-resolution map and 3D model, Just upload your geotagged images to Drone Deploy. Add users to your account, manage permissions, and collaborate using maps available.
So that data is held in the cloud, so you can view it from the office and you can upload it from the site.
Measure distance, area, and volume.
I particularly like this. It gives you the cross-section of a building or a construction, and it tells you how tall it is. And time-lapse photography from a drone.
Monitor plant health, view elevation data, and generate contour lines. Once you've learned the basics, explore the industry's largest app marketplace. Integrate with tools like Autodesk. Harness machine learning to count objects or create one-click reports, and streamline your drone operations. Join a vibrant community of users in over 160 countries and discover how drone mapping can offer new perspectives for your organization.
So Drone Deploy is the software I use, but as I mentioned before, there was Pix4D, and I'm sure there's other ones on the market. Now, I did promise that I would talk about the misuse of drones when I started this presentation, and that's where I'm going to now. So I've brought out 4 different examples of the misuse of drones on this slide. The images represent using drones to deliver contraband to prison, invasion of privacy, and also if you can't drive them very well, you can crash them into people, and honestly, they do hurt. I did find that out in the bad way, the hard way. So the top left image there represents the drone invasion on an airport. Now, we all heard the news about Gatwick Airport late last year. I think it was December. It was also Heathrow Airport, but the British Airline Pilots Association recorded 117 near misses between aircraft and drones throughout the UK between January and November in 2018. So I don't think the problem's going away, unfortunately. Now, the aviation industry is still working to fully understand the implications of a drone hitting an aircraft, but if you just give me a second, I'll just get this one. This is about 3 kilograms of metal, plastic, and this great big lithium-ion battery as well. If that hit an aircraft windscreen or the rotor of a helicopter or something like that, the damage could be catastrophic. So, and this is kind of an industry standard drone. So yeah, could be catastrophic. There are laws in place governing these, and they've been tightened since the Gatwick Airport and Heathrow incidents. So previously, we were allowed to fly within 1 kilometre of an airport, and now it's 5 kilometres. And we're still only allowed to fly up to 400 feet. And sort of decent drones like this one are set to 400 feet. But there are ways to work around it, as always. Now, this is the drone code. This is something that everybody who flies a drone must be aware of. Anyone flying a consumer drone for recreational purpose in the UK doesn't actually need a license, but the new laws coming in this year in October means that they will have to register. And this is just for drones over 250 grams in weight. So if you've got something like this one, this little Hubsan drone, that's out of the regulations, because I think if that hit anything, in fact, it's hit my dog before that one. So it honestly doesn't cause any damage. Please don't blame me for being cruel to animals. I wasn't doing that. If you're using a drone for personal use, you're still governed by the Civil Aviation Authority Air Navigation Order 2018. I'm not going to go into details about that, but it's kind of summarised on the drone code there. You can find that on the website. If you're using the drone professionally, you must get permission to fly. And this is mine. That's my permission to fly from the Civil Aviation Authority. This is all operators of drones over 250 grams, so that one's excluded, as I said. The new laws coming in 2019 will mean that every drone over that way will need a registration number, and that will have to be valid at the time of, and displayed on the aircraft at the time of flying. You'll need evidence of pilot competency. I'm not sure how that will work out. It may be software, an app, or maybe some companies given permission to train people. And as mentioned before, the changes in the exclusion zone around an airport, that came in last week actually, so on the 13th of March. 5 kilometres exclusion now, as opposed to 1 kilometre. And just to put that into context, I will be filming near Doncaster Airport this weekend actually, so I was on the phone to the air traffic control at Doncaster Sheffield Airport to tell them I'm going to be flying. So there are ways to get around to work with the airlines just to make sure that everything is safe and correct. So I've got to phone them just before I take off, and then phone them when I've finished flying, just so that they know to expect something in the air. I think this is the tightening of the laws on drones is going to be good for people who have got their license like I have, because it will improve the opinion of drones in the public eye, and it will also cut down the market, so I'll get more work, so that's great. But the reason I started flying drones is because of the lovely, serene images. And this is just, blatant self-promotion. I'm just going to play you a tiny video of something I shot in Sheffield City Centre last year. And this is why I do the piloting of drones, because it's just so lovely, just so serene. And this is the end of my presentation. So, of course, if you have any questions, please leave them to the end and we'll discuss them in the panel. I did this very early in the morning, that's why there's no traffic, so it was done in a safe way.